Today on In the Woodyard, we're back on the job with Jason Hanstead. He is clearing brush yet, and this is some footage that I shot that didn't really fit in anywhere else, but there was some bunch of cool stuff here, so I made a video of it for you guys. And so he's doing a bunch of chipping, and then this is a bunch of white oak right here in the foreground. You can see down below me there in front of me, in front of you too, I guess, that I'm going to end up getting in my woodyard, and you've probably already seen those get unloaded, and I've got a lot of it already as the recording of this right now that I'm doing the voiceover for. I've got it all cut up already, and I've got a good portion of it split already, and we got a new machine in the woodyard that I'm using that you're going to see to split this with. Something that's all I'm going to say is that it's big and it's blue, and you will see it soon. It's a very nice machine. So yeah, so he's loading up the wood there. He's getting all the brush in, and he's setting the logs off to the side and the back because he didn't want to put them all right up on top there. So he's just sorting through, kind of picking everything out here, doing a good job of doing what's called grubbing, where you clear all the brush out and get everything cleaned up for commercial properties. A lot of times they'll do that when they're putting in roads. They're going to put in a building. In this case, they're putting in a railroad, actual railroad spurs coming in here. I guess there's going to be a bunch of lanes and tracks to go into the big silos that they put up, the big cribs they've got there for the beans and corn. And that stump you see right there in the front is where the oak is coming from. It's white oak, and it's all going to end up in my woodyard, which is kind of nice. I think he only took out a couple logs out of here. I think there was one that was like might have been a 12 or 14 footer. You'll see coming up, but most of it's kind of crooked like that stuff you see right there. That's the stuff I ended up getting because it makes good firewood. He said there was very little good wood in this batch. Now in this entire job that he did there, it was about 7 acres altogether. He got, I think he said like 12 or 14 loads of chips, which is what he's doing here on this day's chipping stuff. And all that gets sold for biomass. It goes up to a plant that can use it, and they burn it for fuel. So he gets paid as good for that as he does pulpwood, so it's a good deal. And it's nice to clean up all the tops and everything, and get the area all cleaned up. And then the logs that were good for lumber, he was able to sell those. And then there was pulpwood that he was able to sell, and then there was a few other things that he got out of it too. But you can see here, it's that one on top's not a good one. The bottom left one there looks like a real nice log. I think that's what I didn't get. I think he took that one to get lumber made out of it, because it was a nice straight one there. There was a few that were pretty good that I got, and I could have got more, but I got 4 loads altogether from this job that he did. It was mostly white oak, a few sticks of cherry, a few sticks of elm, and 1 or 2 of ash, but pretty much 95% of it was like, there's a nice one right there. That's a good looking log. And I think that one he's setting it down by right there, yeah. Those are 2 nice ones there. I don't think I got those. Those ones went to get made lumber made out of them. But yeah, there were a couple nice ones right there. And it's fun watching him. I don't know if you guys like this, but I do. I just like watching the machines work. And he's a very good operator with the grapple there. I've seen guys that just throw stuff around, but he's very precise in his grabs. And I think because he lives in the machine so much, working and picking up brush, that he knows how to maneuver stuff better than the average guy, because he's not just throwing it out of the way, he's actually loading it onto his forwarder that then he can get it ground up and made into chips. But yeah, it's just fun to watch. It's like being a kid with the claw there, being able to pick stuff up. I know when I run my tractor just in the woodyard, loading wood, moving wood, putting loads of wood, or putting individual logs up on the processor for processing, that's one of my most favorite things to do, is run the grapple, because it's, I don't know, just like having a giant, very strong hand to be able to pick this stuff up and move it around. That's what he's doing here. So there, he's getting that one little bitty piece out of there, so, and pulling the brush out and stuff. But that piece ended up going to my woodyard. I remember that one. He's going to toss it here off to the side and come back for some more. And yeah, he's just kind of basically sorting it out and trying to get it cleaned up best he can without getting a lot of brush mixed in with the logs. So when he comes back to pick them up later, and he loads them into my trailer, and that's on another video that you need to see probably. Because I went and, like I said, I got 4 loads from him that I hauled. And each of the loads was maybe a full cord, maybe a little more than a full cord. Some might have been a little less, might have been a little more. I ended up with maybe 4 to 4.5 full cords of firewood out of it. And the reason I got it is because I mentioned this in one of the other videos, is that the white oak is really tough on his knives on his chipper. He said it's very tough on it, and it jams up, and it's just really hard. Look at how precise he can get in there underneath there and grab that piece that was underneath there. I didn't even see it until he went to do that. I didn't even know it was there. But I suppose if he cut them all, he knows they're there. But yeah, he said it's really tough on his machine, on the chipper itself. So, and he didn't really have enough good wood there. He pulled a few ones out to go, to get lumber made, but a lot of the crooked stuff and nasty stuff he knows would make good firewood. And I told him I'm always looking for white oak now that I got some customers that need white oak. I'm always looking for it. And so 4 full cords, maybe a little more than that. That'll be nice. I'll be able to see. You can see the logs off to the side there that he set down there, or bolts, whatever they want to call them. Chunks of wood. So he's going to go run this over to the chipper now and chip away. And it's fun watching the chipper run too. It's like over 500 horsepower. I thought he said 525 horsepower. And his hired man there runs the chipper while he feeds it. They have a remote control. He stands off to the side so he can control it so that he's not eating too fast, or he can back wood out if it's starting to bog down, that kind of stuff. And he can take up to 26-inch pieces. So he can pretty much put almost a whole tree in there, which is pretty cool. But a lot of the brush you can see is just chipping, and that stuff that's right in front in the foreground right there, a lot of that is the dirt, the nasty stuff that falls out of the branches when he's loading them onto the chipper. If you look right in front of the deck there where it rolls in, there's a bunch of leaves, and that's where a lot of the dirt will fall off. Then he'll scoop it out of there and throw it off to the side. So that little pile of leaves right at the very front of it, you can see on the ground there. That's the stuff where a lot of the dirt will fall. Because he doesn't obviously want rocks and dirt to go through the chipper. He doesn't have to. Sometimes they put big chunks in there and big loads, and here I climbed up on top of the front of the trailer just to see what it was like, and that was not a fun place to be. I got totally covered in sawdust, and those pieces come flying at you. So I stuck my head up for just a second, and then here all I did was raise the camera. I'm not even looking. I'm just kind of aiming the camera with my hand down below the front of the box and just letting the camera take the abuse, because those pieces come flying at you. It's not the right place to be, and they both were worried about me when I went up there. They're like, what the heck? Shouldn't be up there. I said, well, I know that, but I had to get the shot. You got to put the camera on. I always say to people, that are shooting video, put the camera somewhere it shouldn't be, and you'll get a good shot. So he's just feeding the chipper here, and it's fun watching it eat. Sometimes it goes in really good, and other times he's got to pull stuff out because it just won't quite go. He's got some work to do on this. He said he was going to redo the chute on it and stuff, just may move it once in a while. And once the trailer got so heavy, it settled, because they only put down a little bit of gravel in this new area where they're developing this new railroad spur. And so it's real kind of heavy, wet clay soil, and we had tons of rain, so the whole trailer kind of settled down a whole bunch as the weight went into it, because there's tens of thousands of pounds of wood in there, so it kind of sunk down a little bit. So in a little while here, you're going to see him get shoved out, because he couldn't even get the trailer to move because it had settled so much. Here he's going to dig out all that debris and then toss it off to the side. So if he doesn't have a pile there, he just throws it over off to the side to get it out of there. That's the stuff he can't really grind. And the pile to the right is the stuff that he wants to toss off too. But yeah, the gravel kind of ended right where they've got the trailer parked and where the actual chipper is. It's not really sitting in a really solid spot there, so it's settling. You can't really see it, but it's settled quite a bit. And he had to shove it to get it out of there. So he was on this job, he told me, for like 3 weeks or something like that, or 4 weeks, a long time. It was a job that it was good to get because it paid well, but he thought he would be done sooner than what he was, and has other jobs to do, so he just wanted to get it done. The main reason it took so long is it was raining we had rain like every day or every other day for weeks, and that's when he was on this job. So everything just turned to soup. It got right where the railroad is going to go, and where his forwarder is sitting there, and that kind of the whole area he's been driving through, that's all going to be a railroad spur in there. So he has to get it all cleaned up so that it doesn't settle. I imagine if you leave a lot of the organic material underneath there and then they fill it, as it decays and settles down, that would be bad. So they're trying to get it out of there as much as possible. And they're having a lot of the stumps taken out and stuff like that too, so that they can have a good bed so they can get the railroad in there. And I guess there's going to be a green space kind of in between that they're going to let grow up eventually too. But he had to get all the stuff out of there because they want the ground to dry out, because it's just been raining so much that normally that would be just dry as could be there, and it's not. And, it's just kind of a mess. You walk around out there and your feet end up weighing 10 pounds apiece because it's just full of clay. Here he had a little too big of a bite. I think he's got to pull some of this out of there so that he's not quite as much. He's got to re-ram it somehow. Yeah, he had to pull it out and kind of restart it. It wouldn't go too many in the cluster. But that's an impressive machine to watch. And he's got another a belly pan chipper that I'm kind of anxious to see. He's got that at another job, so that'll be fun to go watch sometime. And he's got another real big job with a lot of trees that he's doing closer to where he lives. I'm going to go there and do some video too sometime. Yeah, the chipper just eats that stuff up. It's just fun to watch. It's kind of like being a little kid watching that thing run. I like watching it, you know. So here he's just kind of finishing it off, all the little pieces, and then we're gonna go move to another area, and then he's gonna load up my stuff, and then he had to reload a whole other batch he brings in here, so we'll see that come up now. I think I'm gonna stop talking and let you guys just watch the rest of this, because I don't know what else to say. It's just fun to watch.